right? You make her happy, so you'll be all right.
And happy wife normally is about happy life for me.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It ain't about her, it's about you.
So Van says that because Jewish people showed up for Black Americans during the Civil Rights era, he now feels compelled to stand with them now. Let me be clear.
What's the white liberal ideology I'm following?
I'm not saying you.
No, that's what you said. So I'm saying, which one?
No one is free until we are all free. There is no room for any injustice.
Right, you make her happy, so you'll be all right.
And happy wife normally is about happy life for me.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It ain't about her, it's about you.
So Van says that because Jewish people showed up for Black Americans during the Civil Rights era, he now feels compelled to stand with them now. Let me be clear.
What's the white liberal ideology I'm following?
I'm not saying you.
No, that's what you said. So I'm saying, which one?
No one is.
Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. I'm so glad to be here with you. I apologize for the delay. I had to close my eyes and take a nap, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wish I had a fancy technical reason. I wish I had a good excuse other than my body just told me to slow my ass down. And so I sat down. But it is now day 200. Wow. Day 200 of Israel's war on Gaza. Day 200. And as always, we're going to bring you the update. We're going to bring you the coverage. We're going to tell you the story. But I want to just reflect for a second on what that means. We have had 200 days. If you would have told me this war was going to go 20 days or 30 days, I'd say sure. 50 days, I said that's kind of that's tough. 50 is a long time. But 200? And never in my wildest dreams would have thought that we would have gone to day 200. I didn't think that we had the kind of crisis. I'm talking about the mass poverty, the mass displacements of shelter. I'm talking about all of the death of children, women. I'm talking about starvation as a weapon. I didn't think that the international community would stand and do nothing. I didn't think the U.S. could continue to fund a genocide for 200 days, but they have. In fact, let's just go there now because it's late and I'm tired and it is crazy. It's absolutely crazy where we are right now. It's absolutely crazy where we are right now. And so let's just get to it. When we look at the numbers, we really appreciate just how devastating Israel's war on Gaza has been. As of right now, there are at least 34,183 Palestinians. I'm going to say that number again, 34,183 Palestinians who have been killed in Gaza since October 7th. And of course, 77,143 have been wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. The death toll in Israel's the death toll in Israel from Hamas's October 7th attacks, they stand at 1,139, with of course dozens still sadly held captive in Gaza. So we got all of that to think about. But those big numbers, those big picture numbers, those sort of aggregate numbers don't give you a sense of how this stuff plays out on a day-to-day, how we end up going from a few hundred to a few thousand to now. When you count the people in the rubble, you're talking about more than 40,000 people dead. And those numbers haven't stopped. 3 members of a family in Rafah have been killed and 4 others have been wounded after an Israeli military strike hit their home in southern Gaza. That's according to Hani Mahmoud over at Al Jazeera. Again, airstrikes, military strikes of all sorts. I don't know who they're looking for. I don't know who they find, but they look terrible. The optics of it I'm talking about. The idea of just mothers and their babies executed. Striking. Philip Lazzarini, the head of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, also known as UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, He says that the Israeli campaign against the agency has had it operating, quote, hand to mouth after donors pulled funding. Donors are pressured to restore desperately needed funding to UNRWA after an immediate determination was made after looking at thoroughly, independently. This group did. They found that Israel provided no evidence, quote, no evidence of any wrongdoing by staff members. This is the impact of the campaign, the war campaign. Not only have innocent people been killed, but we've also seen how innuendo and misrepresentation and misinformation and disinformation are used to undermine pro-Palestinian voices, pro-Palestinian organizations. That includes UNRWA, which is not just a political argument or political case they're making. UNRWA, since 1948, has provided Palestinian refugees with all of their sources of food, clothing, shelter, housing, healthcare, etc. And the false allegation that they were involved in terrorist activity caused them to be abandoned by the international community, which is its own kind of frustration. Even the idea, even the thought of funding the violence against innocent people, even the thought of that caused the UN nations, the West, let's just say the West stood up and said, "Oh, we can't fund UNRWA. We need an investigation. We can't fund anybody who's hurting Israel in this way." But what's interesting is credible claims, plausible claims, use the ICJ's language, right, of genocide were used against the United States. But we continue to send tens of billions, not millions, but billion would it be over there every year. This itself is a problem. And the fact that there's no evidence of the things that they claim makes it even more stunning. My family, I'm not going to go long, but I want to acknowledge day 200. I want to acknowledge the violence. I want to acknowledge the continued deprivation of Palestinian rights. And I want the world to know that we will not stand for it. We'll continue to fight. We'll continue to struggle. A lot of the updates were on Night School tonight, where we talked about some things happening on Columbia University campus, which I think is the biggest domestic story on Israel-Palestine right now. We also got a lot more coming up. Hopefully this war ends tomorrow or right now, in 5 minutes. But if it does not, I hope that the international community finds the temerity, finds the courage to stand up and speak out against what's happening so that we can finally get the change we deserve. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. Hit like if you like what you saw. Hit subscribe if you want to be part of the conversation. Hit join if you're so inclined to become a monthly supporter of the Marc Lamont Hill Official YouTube channel. Hopefully you do all three, and I get to see you again soon. Peace.